guys, welcome back. I know I've been gone for a while. If you saw on my community posts here on YouTube, I did say that I was going to be taking the month of July off to kind of, one, take a break because I definitely needed it, and two, to try and get a little bit of a backlog going so that I wasn't so stressed out posting videos on a regular schedule moving forwards. I posted that in June. It is now the 18th of July and I have gotten nothing done, so we are more than halfway through and I did nothing. But I just wanted to record this video and kind of use it as a jumping off point to maybe get back into the swing of things. And also I want to kind of use it as an opportunity to talk about burnout and how susceptible we as people in the creative field are to overworking ourselves and getting really burnt out. Because I know for me personally, it's hard to find that line of knowing when I need to take a break from work stuff like commissions and providing content online and stuff like that versus wanting to work on more personal projects. Because both of those things are obviously very similar, so it's hard to realize that even if you're doing one for work and one for fun, you're still working the same area of your brain to exhaustion. That's how I see it, at least. I don't know if that's how it is for other people. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because it happened to me very recently at the end of June. I had huge plans for May. You guys know I was doing that month-long mermaid double series. I had a series going on Instagram and a series going on my YouTube. And then for June, I kind of last minute decided to do a little mini Pride series. And then on top of all the content work in the background, I was doing some commissions for a friend of mine. So on top of trying to get consistent content out on time and doing commissions for my friend, this is also my hobby. I was also working on personal stuff just because that's what I enjoyed doing. So with the combination of all of that going throughout the entirety of the 2 months, I really just hit a wall at the end and crashed and burned. And I decided to use this time off of YouTube to also kind of take time for myself and reestablish my love for the craft, my passion for the hobby of just creating art. And so that's what I've been doing. I took a break from my schedule on Instagram. I used to post every 2 days. For the month of July, I've just been posting like when I have something done and not trying to stick to a schedule. And on top of that, I also had my Patreon that I was posting to, and I tried to keep that one more regular because my patrons are actually paying to view my content. So in order to keep a little bit more of a consistent feed over there, I really just had to stop everything else and focus on that to not just completely crash and burn. But all that being said, that's kind of why I've been a lot less active on Instagram and why I haven't been active at all in the month of July. So for today, instead of doing like a really big fancy piece or a challenge or something, I just kind of wanted to sit down and talk to you guys and do a little bit of art just to kind of get back into the swing of things. So I'm gonna hop on over. I don't actually know what I'm doing yet. I'm just gonna kind of treat this as a warm-up piece. And I figured it'd be a good opportunity to kind of chat with you guys as well. Mainly just kind of about things that I've got coming up, stuff that I'm planning that I'm hoping you guys will be excited about. And I also want to know what's going on with you guys as well. How's your year going so far? I know we're more than halfway through the year. I don't know about you guys, but for me, these summer months are absolutely torture. Generally, I'm a person that likes being a little bit more cold. I prefer to like bundle up. I like having my hot drinks to sip on, and now my hot drink has to be iced because otherwise I will simply perish. But let me know how you guys are doing. How's the weather where you are? I hope even if the weather's a little cooler than mine right now, you are still staying hydrated because that's very important. I've actually got, in addition to my iced coffee, I've got a giant water bottle here. I'd say giant. This is giant for me. I'm not a very hydrated person. But look how cute it is with the little skull designs on it. I just got it from Spencer's, but I think it's adorable. And I've kind of been challenging myself to drink 1 bottle's worth of water a day because I am generally like a very dehydrated person, and not even to the point where I realize it. It's just kind of normal for me. I'm sure everyone on my Twitch knows about my LaCroix addiction. I do love LaCroix. I literally have a mini fridge right next to me just for my LaCroix. I don't know if you can see on that top shelf over there. Do you see those cans? That is my LaCroix collection. Every time I get a new can, a new flavor that I haven't tried before, I save one and it goes up there. Don't mind me, I'm just crazy like that. I've got a box of LaCroix down here that I still need to put away, actually. Anyway, despite my sparkling water addiction, I actually don't drink that much water. I'm not a huge fan of just just plain water. It's not that I don't like the taste of it, it's just that it's unexciting and I just kind of forget to drink. So when I have something that tastes a little better and I want that flavor, it's easier for me to be more consistent with consuming it. Whereas with just plain water, sometimes I forget I have it. Or even sometimes I'll remember I have it and I know I'm thirsty, but I just don't want it because it doesn't taste as good as like an iced coffee or a LaCroix. And actually LaCroix is good to have on hand because it is for the most part just water. It gets you just as hydrated. There's nothing bad in it, no sugars or carbs or anything. It's just lightly flavored sparkling water. So it's good that I have a LaCroix addiction and not like a Dr. Pepper addiction. In fact, I don't even really like soda anymore. I used to love soda when I was a kid. My parents didn't keep it in the house. It was really like a special treat. When you go to a barbecue or you go to a restaurant, it's like, okay, we can have one soda kind of thing. And as I got older and I got a job, specifically I started working in the food industry at a place that allowed its employees to drink as much soda as we wanted, because I don't know if you guys know this, but like soda machines are probably a restaurant's #1 moneymaker in the most part, because the way those things are made, it's just carbonated water, which costs nothing. And then they've got these giant boxes of flavoring, basically really, really concentrated syrup. And those boxes of flavoring cost them nothing, absolutely nothing per drink. It's pennies on the dollar. And yet they're selling soda cups for like $3 to $4. And granted, you can get as much soda as you want. And I know some people that definitely get their money's worth out of it, but for the most part, people get like one refill, if that. I know I don't even get refills when I get a soda. And that's it. The restaurant has just made $4 on that drink and given you about 3 cents worth of soda, if that. Anyway, point of this rant is if you're going to a restaurant that offers soda, try to get as many refills as possible. Get a refill on your way out the door because it costs them nothing. And you want to be able to get your money's worth. I'm gonna do an elf, actually. I love elves. Oh, the point of that though was I actually lost the taste of soda because I had access to it constantly when I was working in the restaurant industry. So it just kind of lost its novelty of being like a special drink that you can only have on special occasions. But I still liked the carbonation. That was my favorite part of sodas, was like the bubbly fizziness of it. I think as I got older, sodas also just became too sweet, which is why I now have a LaCroix addiction. Because LaCroix still has that like flavor to it. It has the bubbliness, the carbonation of soda, which I love, but it's not as sweet and it's a lot better for you, which I appreciate. I really love drawing fantasy characters. I couldn't tell you what the appeal is, aside from just kind of being able to draw whatever the heck you want, you know, because there's not really any hard and fast rules to fantasy. That's kind of the whole point of it. So really it's just whatever you want to put on the page. And it's definitely a great way to kind of relieve some of that burnout stress. Because again, you could just kind of doodle what you want. There's not really any pressure to make sure things look perfect. Here's a question actually. Does anyone have any good tips for how to combat burnout? I've found a few over the years. I think the one most people know, and probably my favorite one by far, is just drawing what you want to draw. If art is both your hobby and your job, really taking some time to make sure that you get personal, self-indulgent art done. Like, doesn't even have to be posted. Just make sure you take some time to yourself and draw what you want to draw. Don't even worry. Don't even think about posting it while you're in the process of drawing. Just do what you want to do and make it as self-indulgent as possible. Try to find joy in what you're doing instead of focusing on maybe how your piece is going to be perceived by other people. Because I have found that's a huge contributing factor to burnout, is knowing that your art is going to be seen by someone else and kind of panicking when it doesn't come out perfect, especially because you put so much time and effort into something and you don't want to have to go back and redo it because you know you need to put a product out, and then all that time and effort just kind of feels wasted, which is another mindset you really need to get away from in order to avoid burnout. And this is something I've been having trouble with, is the kind of like content creator through my pen. Kind of the content creator mindset of everything is content, which is just, oh my god, the most toxic way of thinking. You will reach burnout so quickly if you start thinking of your trade this way. And I know for artists especially, this is so difficult to get over because art takes such a long time to make, and content creation, especially with short form video today, it's like you need to be putting stuff out constantly or you very quickly become irrelevant. So even though you're taking a lot of time like actually making your art, you still need to be putting out content. So it turns into this mindset of every single thing you do needs to be turned into content somehow. For example, what I'm doing right now. Even though I'm trying to take this time to just like relax and draw a piece that I want to draw and avoid burnout a little bit, I'm still using this time to talk to you guys. I'm still putting content out on the internet by posting this YouTube video. But don't worry about me. I've got tons of other personal projects that I've been working on. I've been doing a lot of personal art, posting it on Instagram. I've been doing a lot of just warm-ups just to sort of get myself back into the mindset of creating for the sake of creating. And then if I like it, I'll post it to Instagram. If I don't like it, I won't. I do post everything to my Patreon though. So sometimes some of the stuff I post there is not my best work, and I've sort of started thinking that that's like the whole point of Patreon, is to show off that not everything you do is going to be a banger. I feel like I'm losing my train of thought. Basically, remember to take time for yourself. That's like my number one tip for avoiding burnout, especially in a creative field. Now, during this little hiatus that I've been taking, I actually did stumble across another technique for kind of avoiding burnout that I find is really working for me. Because we're talking about burnout in the creative field, and when art is your job but you also use art to relax, it's kind of hard to escape the working mindset. At least for me it is. And what I have found to be super helpful is switching mediums or environments when you're drawing. So for example, in addition to doing art on my tablet here on my computer in my studio, I also have an iPad with Procreate installed. So that way when I'm feeling a little overwhelmed by work, or just at the end of the day when I want to unwind, I can actually take the iPad into another room and draw on that for a little while. And what it does is it gets me out of this environment where I've been working all day, so it's easier for my brain to switch from the you're at work mode into the this is leisure time mode. And I feel like a lot of digital artists already understand this, because I remember especially before I had an iPad, it was really easy to sign off of creating digital art for the day and then pick up an actual physical sketchbook and do some sketches or graphite art while watching TV to just kind of like wind down. And I think just that switch in medium is a nice like refresh or nice reset to your brain. And for me at least, it helps brush off the day. So I think those are my two biggest tips for avoiding burnout, is to take time to enjoy your hobby and then just switch up your environment every now and then, because it's really your perception of what you're doing that I feel makes the biggest difference. I'm gonna give her a horn. She's gonna be like a tiefling character. Something else I've really been enjoying drawing lately, and this is quite shocking to me because I've never ever enjoyed doing this before, is I've been really wanting to draw a lot of environments and scenery and backgrounds, which again is so wild because if you look back at my old art and even a lot of my recent art, I just don't draw backgrounds for no reason other than I'm unpracticed in them and I would rather just draw characters because that's what I like to do, that's what I know how to do. But yeah, lately for some reason I've been really enjoying getting into drawing backgrounds, and I'm really happy that I am, because you definitely don't want to be an artist that can't be a little bit more flexible in your style, or at the very least in your content. You want to be able to be a little bit more versatile in what you can and cannot do, even if you're not marketing yourself. If you don't try and learn new things, you're just going to become stagnant, and in my experience, being stagnant in art does lead to sort of a loss in appreciation for it. I always love trying new things, which, by the way, spoilers for future videos, but I do have some plans to be trying a lot of new things, and I am very excited and very scared for that, because the other thing is, even though I like trying new things, I'm definitely one of those people where if I don't get it right on the first try, I get extremely frustrated and I want to quit. But that's kind of the whole point of this series, because I know that is my initial instinct to want to give up on stuff that I'm not good at immediately. I really need to train myself to be better at just accepting that you're not going to be good at everything first go around, and knowing that you need to practice, because that's ultimately what's going to make you a better artist. And if you like drawing one thing, you can draw one thing all your life. If that doesn't bother you, go for it. I love drawing characters. I love drawing characters and I love really thick, dynamic line art. I know those things are not going to leave my repertoire because I just enjoy, that's what I enjoy drawing. I love drawing characters and I love having really bold line work. That being said, I do want to try drawing more environments. I want to try drawing more animals. I definitely don't draw animals as often as I draw human or fantasy characters. I really want to try, and I've actually tried this a few times before with mixed results, but I really want to try getting into lineless art, which is so intimidating for me. That's one of the ones where every time I pick it up and I fail, I feel so insecure about myself and I get really depressed at the fact that I was not able to do it on the first try. But again, no one's able to do something perfectly on the first try. So even though I need to take some time most of the time to kind of lick my wounds a little bit, you always just have to remember to brush yourself off and try again and again and again and again. And eventually you'll get to a point where it might not be perfect, but it's not the worst thing in the world that you've ever done. And you're going to be able to practice it more and more without taking as long of breaks in between practices. And then as you're practicing more and more, you're going to become more and more confident in your ability because you're going to see faster and faster improvement. And that's just the way of the world. That's how creative hobbies work. That's how anything works. The more effort and practice you put into something, the faster you're going to become good at it, the more you're going to enjoy it, and just good things to come all around. I actually get a lot of people asking me, like, what is the biggest tip you can give to new artists, or like what's something I can do to improve my art or improve my style. And I hate saying it because it's like the number one most cliche phrase you can even think of is practice makes perfect. And that's not even a good phrase. Practice makes progress is definitely a better phrase because you're never going to reach perfection. Perfection doesn't exist in the creative field. There's always, no matter who you are, no matter how long you've been doing this, there's always going to be room for improvement. So even though it's the most cliche phrase in the world, there's a reason it is. There's a reason you hear it so often. Practice makes progress. Because it's true. And no one likes to hear it because they've heard it a million times. But like, I can't say anything else. When you break it down, if you break down every like art tip that any artist has ever given someone, every single one of them boils down to practice. I'm sorry. I know you hate hearing it. I hated hearing it too. But it's true. Practice your anatomy, practice your line work, practice your color theory, practice lighting, practice line confidence, practice your style. Everything comes down to just sticking with it, doing as much art as you can, as often as you can, and just practice. I can't overstate it. And that's another thing, now that I've mentioned it, I'm gonna go ahead and expand on it. Another common question that I see is, how do I find my style? How do I find my art style? And the answer is very simple. You don't. You do not find your art style finds you. Essentially, you already have an art style. Everyone has an art style. And if you don't like your art style, or you think you're just not there yet, it's because your perception of art is greater than your ability. And that is going to be in flux for your entire artistic career. Your perception of art, of your art, is sometimes going to be greater than your ability, and so you'll practice more, and then your ability will get better than your perception. You will think, oh my god, my art is amazing. I absolutely love my art. I'm so glad I found my style. Well, like, guess what? Your style was already there. Your style has always been there, but you practice to the point that now you like it. But then, guess what? You will eventually hate your style again, and that is because you are growing and you are maturing and you are experiencing your art as well as other people's art, and your perception of your art is going to change again. Your perception will be more advanced than your artistic ability. Even if you were just loving your art 2 weeks ago, eventually your brain is going to catch up and realize, oh, I could be doing better than this. And so you hate your art again. So you practice more, you learn more, you observe more, and then eventually you'll get back to the point where you love your art. You'll get back to the point where, oh, I am an incredible artist. I learned so much since the last time I thought I was a good artist. Now I'm like actually a good artist. And you'll be happy for a little while. And then once again, your brain will catch up. Your perception of art will be your perception of your art will be greater than your ability. And it's just a constant cycle. There is absolutely no stopping it. You will always feel like you need to improve. And then at some point you'll realize, oh, this is it. This is my art style. This is exactly what I wanted. The cycle is constant and unrelenting. And I'm not saying this to try and discourage people. I'm actually saying it to try and encourage people that when you are in that headspace of, I wish I could do better, my art sucks, like, you just got to remember that you will improve. You will get to the point again that you love your art. And it's fine. It is absolutely fine to not like what you're producing for a moment. In my experience, that's when you need to take a step back and sort of reevaluate if you are approaching burnout. If maybe your brain's telling you your art isn't good enough, when in reality you might just need to... my camera overheated, which is fine. I feel like I was rambling a bit there anyway. But yeah, I'm done with this piece. Hope you guys had fun hanging out with me. Sorry for getting a little bit rambly there at the end. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and render this off camera and I'll meet you guys back here for the final product. All right, bye. Hi guys, I'm back with the finished piece for you. I don't know if you can see it, but if you can, ignore my little pimple patch here. I've been having the worst breakout on my chin lately, but I'm pretty happy with this one. It's not the best piece I've ever put out there, and I do feel like I kind of rushed the rendering a little bit, but this wasn't supposed to be something big. This was just supposed to be something that I did just for myself. Something to kind of find the love in art again. Again, to get back into making videos, get back into the swing of things, and just take some time to draw some characters that don't have or really need a backstory. They're just kind of there, which is my favorite thing to do. Sometimes I like coming up with backstories as I'm drawing the characters, but then this is the only time I'll ever see the characters, so I never really have to think about it again, and I find that enjoyable. It's a lot less stressful than trying to keep a consistent backstory for a character that you are posting regularly. This one's just for fun. It's just like a fun little brain experiment. You get to come up with the story and some ideas for these characters, and then you get to throw it all away when you're done. Which, I don't know about you, but I really enjoy doing that. So let me know what you guys think. If you do want to see this piece in full, you can find it on my Instagram. It's posting there the same time that this video is posting. If you want to get a little bit of a sneak preview to my art and videos, you can actually find me on Patreon as well. Depending on the tier you sign up for, you can get a ton of behind the scenes posts, lots of work in progress posts, lots of sketches of different characters, different pieces. Sometimes you'll get exclusive sketches because I just never get far enough with them to feel as though they're ready to post, or fully exclusive art that I make just for Patreon. You also have access to everything that I post at least 3 days in advance. That includes all of my finished work and videos. And I also have a tier for my live stream archives as well. If you want to catch those live streams, you can find me on Twitch. I usually stream Tuesday and Fridays. Tuesdays I'm usually doing art, so when you're finished watching this video, you can head on over there and drop a follow so that you can catch me when I'm live later this evening. I'm trying to go live a little bit earlier now to get a stream in before the heat of the day hits, but generally I start streams around 2 to 3. And then lastly, if you want to see some speed draws of my art, as well as just general silliness and progress shots, you can also find me on TikTok. And in addition to that, I also post some of my speed draws to Instagram as well. If you want to find me on any of those social media platforms, my name is Threadwing, spelled the same as it is here on YouTube, spelled the same across all of those platforms. I really hope to see you there. Your support means the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching this whole video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can find your way back here for next week's video. I will see you all then. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.